Hello, I am Cindy Carlson, a police officer from the Sensitive Crimes Division Domestic Violence High Risk Team, also referred to as the DVHRT unit. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so I would like to take this opportunity to explain what the DVHRT team is and also explain how you can help obtain successful prosecutions for domestic violence cases. The team consists of the District Attorney's Office, 2 police officers and a sergeant from the Sensitive Crimes Division, domestic violence officers from Districts 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, victim advocates from the Sojourner Family Peace Center, and agents from Probation and Parole. The criteria for cases to be referred into DVHRT include shootings, stabbings, sexual assaults, arson, strangulation to unconsciousness, or reports that there was loss of bodily functions, high lethality assessment scores, and some previously staffed high-risk cases. Cases are also referred into DVHRT based on the officer's belief that a case is high risk or needs extra attention. The Sensitive Crimes DVHRT officers analyze cases and assist in writing up additional charges such as stalking, victim intimidation, and bail jumping. We also draft search warrants for cases already reviewed and require additional evidence. We conduct felony DV interrogations for cases that meet specific criteria. The District Domestic Violence Liaison Officers conduct home visits with advocates and search for wanted DV suspects. Domestic violence is a complex issue, with each case being unique. There are instances in which disorderly conduct was the offense filed, and the next call for police resulted in a homicide. DV homicides have increased significantly. In 2019, Milwaukee suffered the loss of 25 people to domestic violence. In 2020, that number increased to 43 lives lost. Every domestic violence call should be treated as if it has the potential to be a homicide. Conducting and building the most thorough investigation and evidence-based case possible can reduce the risk of a homicide. A thorough investigation includes interviewing all parties on scene, conducting a canvass, locating video that puts the victim and suspect on scene, contacting and interviewing all 911 callers, documenting exchanges of communication between the victim and suspect, and conducting interrogations when a suspect is taken into custody. Children are often witnesses of domestic violence in the home. Did you know victims who have children that are not biologically the suspect's child have an increased risk of homicide? The Division of Milwaukee Child Protective Services should be contacted if there are children present during an incident, and this should be documented in the report.
Hello, I'm Deb Stacy. I'm a police officer from the Sensitive Crimes Division Domestic Violence High Risk Team. When identifying the primary aggressor, officers should identify evidence other than only visible injuries. In strangulation cases, there are often no visible injuries to the naked eye, but the internal injuries often exist and could result in death days after the incident. When there is strangulation, it increases the likelihood that the relationship will result in lethality by 750%. In 2017, a study was conducted of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. The results showed 75% of the suspects were domestic violence offenders. Your role is critical in breaking the cycle. Police are not in this alone. There are community partners with advocacy services willing to help. When reviewing the lethality assessment with a victim, officers should advise them of advocacy resources available to them and the importance of having support. Victims who are connected to advocacy services are less likely to be killed as a result of domestic violence, even if they remain in an abusive relationship. 96% of DV homicide victims were not connected to the advocacy services. Victims who utilize domestic violence shelter also experience a 60% reduction in the reassault. The arrest of a domestic violence suspect can reduce the risk of homicide. Advocates can be reached after the police have left and are great at connecting victims with resources available to them, thus contributing to their safety. Sojourner Family Peace Center can assist with obtaining restraining orders, shelter, surveillance cameras, connections to counseling, and so much more. Resources are determined on a case-by-case basis. For victims who prefer culturally specific advocacy, please refer to weareheremke.org.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Janik, Supervisor of DVHRT. Each one of you has the power to make a difference, and the DVHRT team is looking forward to working together to help break the cycle of domestic violence. If you have a case that you're concerned about, please contact your district's domestic violence advocate and advise that you would like the case to be reviewed by DVHRT. If you have any questions or need guidance regarding a domestic violence case, please feel free to call or send us an email.